Right, morning everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be looking at this tent, which is a Tempest 200, which is made by Vango. I'm conscious of the fact that like me, when I started going wild camping, some people are on limited budgets and some people simply don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a tent for something which, you know, you might not actually get into at the end of the day. Now, this is not a sponsored video in any way, and I've owned this tent for about 9 years now, and I think it's a really good choice for people who are just looking at getting into wild camping. This can be picked up online now for just short of 120 quid, and if you shop around I'm sure you can get an even better deal than that. When I bought it, I was drawn to it by the fact that it was relatively low in price, and it packs down reasonably small, and it's got various features which I found to be useful and helpful to me when I was starting off wild camping. So I think it's a really good budget friendly wild camping tent. Very briefly, it's a tunnel tent and they are very easy to pitch. There's just simply 2 poles. There is a third pole, but that's not required for the pitching of the tent per se, and that's just to keep a bit of fabric above the porch area nice and taut, which I'll show you because in a minute we're going to go and set it up in the garden in the lovely sunny weather. It's got some decent features. It's got their tension band system, which is a series of cords inside the tent, which when you fasten them up to each other, they provide some more rigidity, some lateral rigidity to the tent. Because sometimes people are of the opinion that tunnel tents aren't as stable as their geodesic counterparts, and therefore can be, you know, vulnerable sometimes depending on the direction of the wind. Well, the TBS, the tension band system by Vango, gets around that by providing some additional lateral strength. I'll talk you through all that in a minute and we won't get bogged down in too much detail. Very quickly, in terms of the weight, it's around 2.7 kilos. You can obviously shave some weight off that by taking it out the stuff sack. You can get some lighter pegs for it and shave off some grams if you so wish. Nice touch, it's got a nice included ground sheet in the porch area, which is good. I like that just for keeping your boots and things off the muddy ground. If conditions are wet and damp, it keeps your gear that much cleaner and helps you to stay a little bit more organised. It is a 2-person tent, but you've got to be pretty good friends with someone to get in with them in this. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but it is designed as a 2-person tent. Personally, I treat it as a solo tent and enjoy that much more room, and of course you can get your rucksack in there with you and all your equipment and have lots of room, so it's like palatial for one person. The materials are really good and I'll leave all the technical specifications in the description box below, but that's enough talking about the tent. Like I say, I'll leave some links up to where you can purchase it. It's not a sponsored video. I've owned it for almost 9 years. There's a newer version, it's the Tempest 200 Pro, but that just uses some stronger material for the Flysheet. Essentially, the tent is exactly the same. So, without further ado, let's go into the garden and get it pitched up. Right, as you can see, the old version of the tent comes in this stuff sack. The newer version, I believe, it's a little bit easier to get the tent back in at the end of the day. It's got a much wider opening, and it's much easier to get the tent in. You've got these 2 compression straps which make it nice and small. Get it in your pack or strap it to the outside of your pack, and you've got a little bit of a carrying handle as well if you so wish. So we get the tent out and I'll show you just how easy it is to get it pitched. So here you see, you get a bag of pegs, poles, get a ground sheet for the porch, and this is the tent itself. Now the inner on this one is attached to the Flysheet, which is nice and handy. It means if it's raining, your inner's going to stay nice and dry. It pitches all as one. Really handy, and I like that style of tent. So first things first, just lay the tent out lengthways wherever you're going to pitch it. Really simple so far. So there you go, we've got 3 pre-shaped and colour-coded aluminium poles. Really simple with these tunnel design tents, as I'll show you now. So the colour-coded poles, there's little colour-coded tabs on each of the external pole sleeves. Really simple, just pass each pole through those. Do that for the rear one as well. Now once you've done that, each end of the pole just locates into a small eyelet at the end of each pole sleeve. Then all we need to do is locate the second end of the pole into the corresponding bit on the sleeve, and this puts tension on the tent and it will start to take shape. There we go. Do that on the other pole as well. So that's the basic shape of the tent pitched. Now this third pole, like I say, it's not required for getting the tent pitched itself. There's this piece of material which covers the porch area, and there's a top vent over that, and this is what's required just to add some tension onto this top section, which you're going to see now. So you can see as well, all the guy out points on the corner of the tent, they're just really easy to adjust. You put your peg in, and then you just got your simple toggle pull cord adjusters to tension it or slacken it as is required for a nice taut pitch. So like I mentioned earlier on, this one comes with an included ground sheet for the porch area, which is a really nice extra touch. If the ground's wet and muddy, you want to get your gear off the ground, storing your boots, your stoves, etc. You don't want them to get covered in mud. That's a really handy feature, and it obviously means that you're bringing less mud, dirt, grass into the sleeping compartment of the tent and keeps it that much cleaner. Really nice extra touch. Well done, Vango. So if we look at the zippers on the main door, you've got these large plastic loops which you can operate with gloved hands. We've got a storm flapper material which covers the zip itself, and then there's these velcro tabs which stop that coming open and protect the zip. So it's a big J-shaped zipper, all the way up there. You've got this nice wide opening into that really usable porch area. So the good thing about this design is that this door can open from the top. You can use that as a vent, so if you're cooking inside the porch, your steam can escape. That's a really safe way to cook inside the porch of your tent. The door can roll away and fasten securely with these toggles on this side. And there's that vent just to show you. So you get your airflow from there and from the rear. Now, for the purposes of this review, I've not put all the guy lines out because it's just not necessary at this moment in time. but they're really easy to use. There's a plastic clip which I'll show you. They just clip onto each pole and provide some extra stability to your tent. You should always guy it out because you don't know what the weather's going to do, and the last thing you want to do is get up in the middle of the night when you're nice and warm in your sleeping bag to come out and adjust your tent to make it stable again. So always guy it out. I'll just show you these in a little bit more detail now. Right, so I hope that's shown you just how quick, simple and easy it is to pitch this tent. A 2-pole tunnel design, no faffing round, not complex. If the weather turns bad, you want to get your tent pitched as quickly as possible, and this tent's going to allow you to do that with its really simple pitching design. So let's have a little look inside and see what we get. So this porch, it's deceptively large. I can just about sit up in it, and I'm 6 foot tall. You can imagine if the weather's turned bad, it's raining, and you want to do some cooking but stay warm and dry. This porch is going to allow you to do that. I've already shown you how to vent the door just from the top whilst the rest of it remains closed. So it allows you to cook inside from the shelter of the tent. So if we have a look at the internal sleeping compartment, you can see it's got this crescent shaped vent at the top of the door. These are the tension band system which I told you about earlier on. I'll show you how they work in a minute. So once we're inside the tent, we can stash the door into that stowage area there, or if we so wish, we can close it back up, and the vent here, keep that open. And we've got this bug screen, this mesh, which stops insects coming in, but still allows good airflow into the tent. You've got a lantern hoop there for attaching your light. Now if you look around the tent, we've got lots of storage areas. We've got this mesh which goes down both sides. And if we look at the floor, we can see it's a bathtub inner. Generously comes up on the sides. Make sure that you're going to be staying dry even if the ground's really wet. And we've got taped seams throughout the inner of the tent. We've also got a bit of mesh on each side, which is also where the tension band system comes into the inner on this side of the tent. So that's the tension band system. What you do is buckle that, put some tension on it. Don't over tighten it, and it means that if the tent is blowing from side to side, that's going to reduce that movement. So as you can see, there's enough room for me. I'm 6 foot tall, which is 182 centimetres. You could get 2 people in here, but it's a little bit of a squeeze, but that might not be an issue for some of you. I personally view it as a spacious and generous 1-person tent. I can't sit up in it, but I can just about sit up in the porch area. I hope I've demonstrated why I believe this is a great tent for anyone starting out into wild camping. I believe it's budget friendly. You can pick it up at a good price online, and it's got some really good features which I've showed you in this video. Vango back their products up with an excellent warranty, and spares and replacement parts are also widely available. So for anyone who's thinking of getting into wild camping, I think this is a really good choice. This is, however, just my opinion, and there are plenty of other choices out there. I've got some other budget friendly tents which I will show you in due course, but I hope you like this review of the Vango Tempest 200. If you found this video useful, I would really appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up, as it helps me out on YouTube. Also, there's over 200 videos in the back catalogue, and hopefully something for everyone. So if you're not a subscriber to MCM Outdoors, maybe consider subscribing if you're a lover of everything the great outdoors. I'll see you on the next adventure. Take care everyone.